carried out in congregations all over the world. It's one of our oldest traditions. Bill was telling me, I didn't realize that. It's older than
the chalice and
older than our symbol of using a chalice and water communion. And it's a very simple ritual that we carry out, which is that everyone comes here as individuals with all our own beauties and strengths, and we bring our flower to represent our individuality. And at the end of the service, you select another flower, not your own, to represent your carrying others with you when you leave. So it's very simple, but it's very meaningful. And so I have asked the youth, I'm sorry for alarming everyone by having them make off with the flowers. Kathy was concerned. They will come back, but I just really wanted to involve them this year to the degree that they can. And so they're going to be sharing poems and meditations on flowers and the spirit of flower communion to invite you in to this practice. And so first, though, for those who are not familiar, I just wanted to share the story of flower communion. And this is something that the UUA has put together, so not my own words. But the story of Norbert Chopek's flower ceremony. His mother was a devout Catholic, his father agnostic. He became an acolyte at age 10 in 1890 at St. Martin's Catholic Church. In the years that followed, he became disillusioned. His priest was a cynic. At 18, apprenticed to his uncle, a successful tailor in Vienna, Norbert discovered the Baptists and became a minister. He founded almost a dozen churches from Ukraine to Budapest. Slowly, his faith became more and more liberal. He left Bohemia under government threat and accepted a call to serve a Baptist church in New York City until one day in 1919. That day, he wrote in his diary, "I cannot be a Baptist anymore, even in compromise. The fire of new desires, new worlds is burning inside me." Norbert and his wife, Maya Chopek, joined a Unitarian church in New Jersey in 1921. For the same reason that a lot of you did, and I did personally, their children liked the religious education program. So that's the power of RE for you. World War I ended. His home country now independent, he and Maya returned home to Czechoslovakia. His Unitarian church was the Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship, and in just 20 years, his church had 3,200 members. The traditional Christian communion service of bread and wine wouldn't meet the needs of his congregation because his church, like ours, had people who believed many different things. Chopek turned to the beauty of the countryside, to the beauty of flowers. In 1923, he developed the flower ceremony. He asked congregants to bring a flower to church from their gardens, the field, or the roadside, and he invited each person to place their flower in a vase. There was the church community, no less unique for being united. Following the service, each person could take a flower from the vase, a different one than the one they had brought. Chopek was a visionary minister with a church ahead of its time, a bold church, a church thinking beyond its doors, beyond what it thought possible. Chopek, it was a church that was willing to take risks, to make tough decisions, to bear disappointment, to build a new way. First by building a church, and that church could build up the world. That's our church today, UU churches today, and that was Chopek's church. For this, the Gestapo arrested him in 1942. The Nazis accused Chopek of listening to foreign broadcasts and sent him to the Dachau concentration camp. Even in starvation and torture, he held a flower ceremony with his fellow prisoners, finding whatever flowers they could among the weeds of the camp. They testified to a beauty larger than themselves and a love that would outlive them. The Nazis killed Norbert Chopek, but his spirit, courage, and commitment live on today. Those qualities have passed now to us to make them real. His wife, Maya, brought the flower ceremony to the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1940. What we're about to do is not a historical reenactment of something over and done, but an affirmation of our continuity with the generations of struggle for ever-widening liberty. This flower ceremony, lovely though it is isn't a diversion from the ugly reality, but a gentle fierceness which proclaims that in the midst of sinister days there is always the light of beauty. We are not here to recall something that happened, but to remember something that is happening, to re-remember, to put back together again, and in that remembering, may we put ourselves back together again, each as a part of the body of this community, out of many, one. Today, we celebrate this ritual of solemnity and joy. As Chopik asked his people to bring a flower and celebrate beauty, so shall we. Now, we'll go bring the kids back in.
Enter into the communion of flowers with joyful hearts. Enter with reverent thoughts. It has taken long months beneath cold ground for these flowers to prepare their blooming. It has taken each of us long times of growth through sorrow and joy to prepare for our living now. The blooming season is short. The flowers stay only a brief time. We are travelers upon the earth, travelers through all to brief lifetimes. Therefore, let our moments be bountiful. Let us rejoice in the unique colors, aromas, and sounds. Let us celebrate together in love, that as we travel away, we will take with us the memory of golden hours together among the flowers.
First hymn begins to peek through the barren ground as that little sprig grows into a healthy stem. As that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil, let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, and ready to emerge with new energy, ready to face the day.
And we'll take it right here. I think that's
If ever there were a spring day so perfect, so uplifted by a warm, intermittent breeze, that it made you want to throw open all the windows in the house and unlatch the door to the canary's cage, indeed, rip the little door from its jamb, a day when the cool brick paths and the gardens burst with peonies seemed so etched in sunlight that you felt like talking, a hammer to the glass paperweight on the living room end table, releasing the inhabitants from the snow-covered cottage so that they could walk out, holding hands and squinting, into this large dome of blue and white. Well, today is just that kind of day.
See, the grass is full of stars, fallen in their brightness. Hearts they have of shining gold, rays of shining whiteness. Buttercups have honeyed hearts, bees they love the clover. But I love the daisy's dance, all the meadow over. Blow, oh blow, you happy winds, singing summer's praises, up the field and down the field, a-dancing with the daisies.
The congregation is divided into two sides, and alternate the speaking of each verse. These flowers we see before us, they come in many shades and colors. They come in many sizes and shapes. They carry different scents, some have no scent at all. Yet all were created by the same miracle. The miracle that these blossoms grow every year out of the divine mixing of water, soil, and sunshine. Our lives are miracles as well. Despite our trials and disappointments, people come every year to celebrate Flower Communion, to be reminded that all of us here have value and all have a place in the beauty of the world, to be reminded that where you came from is not as important as the fact that you are here now, to be reminded that all are welcome and all may receive at the communion table of this church. We come to be a part of something greater than ourselves.
Flowers chant their wordless songs of color and scent, delighting like a joyful choir at dawn. I breathe in with my whole body, feeling how it is we grow, quietly rising together among spring's green and dew. The rhythm of season rolls ahead, and I, a shy blossom, voice my small prism of song. I am singing of the wonder of how roots so love the buds that bid them grow, unseen as they are, while the buds never look back.
Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful. And I'm going to share a final flower communion blessing. Within our hands, we hold the resurrection of the world. Transient and imperfect, these blossoms are still gifts of infinite value, like ourselves. Too often we seek permanence and perfection. Resisting change, blind to our shortcomings, we become caught up in the petty issues and routine activities of our daily lives. But may these flowers serve as a reminder as they allow themselves to open to the heavens, for despite their imperfections, they still have integrity, and though they're transient, they contain the seeds of transcendence, like ourselves. Let us then also open ourselves to mystery and wonder, fretting not about the small mishaps, or even, for now, great misfortune. For the resurrection of the world is at our fingertips. The resurrection lies within us.